Germany sent drones and warships to help Philippines from Chinese harassment in South China Sea. Germany's top diplomat said Thursday that China's actions in the South China Sea violate the rights of Asian coastal states like the Philippines and threaten freedom of navigation, but added that territorial disputes have to be resolved peacefully because the world doesn't need another crisis. In a symbolic gesture of Germany's support for the Philippines, Germany's top diplomat visited the Coast Guard headquarters in Manila and boarded a patrol ship, where she briefly flew one of a number of surveillance drones that Germany donated to the Philippines. Philippine Coast Guard officials said the drones would help the country defend its territorial interests in the South China Sea, enforce maritime laws, and undertake search and rescue missions during accidents at sea. Chinese officials did not immediately issue a reaction. The decades-long territorial dispute escalated last year between Beijing and Manila, sparking fears it could degenerate into a major conflict that could involve the United States, a longtime treaty ally of the Philippines. Chinese Coast Guard ships and accompanying vessels used military-grade laser and water cannons against Philippine Coast Guard and supply vessels and undertook dangerous maneuvers near disputed shoals, prompting the Philippines to file a large number of diplomatic protests against China, Philippine officials said. The U.S. has repeatedly warned it is obligated to defend the Philippines if its forces, aircraft, and ships come under an armed attack, including in the South China Sea. China has warned the U.S. and its allies not to meddle with what it says is a purely Asian dispute and build up its forces in the region, warning of unspecified consequences. China's actions in the South China Sea, which have led to minor collisions with Philippine vessels, are of concern to Germany and other European countries, Baerbock said, because such risky maneuvers violate rights and opportunities for economic development of your own country and other littoral states. Baerbock held the news conference with her Philippine counterpart, Enrique Manalo. They also put into question the freedom of navigation and international law, affecting all countries worldwide, she said, adding that China's claims are not covered by international law. The German foreign minister, the first to visit the Philippines in about a decade to bolster ties, cited a 2016 ruling by a United Nations-backed arbitration panel that invalidated China's extensive territorial claims on historical grounds. China refused to participate in the arbitration, dismissed its ruling as a sham, and continues to defy it. However, China claims sovereignty over nearly all of the sea, pointing to a line on its maps that cuts into the exclusive economic zones, EEZ, of Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia. The German Foreign Ministry said in a post on X that China's claims to extensive maritime areas were rejected by an arbitration tribunal in 2016. On the basis of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. UNCLOS is an international agreement providing a legal framework for all marine and maritime activities to which 168 countries and the EU are parties to. China has rejected the 2016 ruling. After her visit to the Philippines, Baerbock will head to Malaysia and Singapore in further attempts to strengthen German ties with Southeast Asian countries. She added that such actions also call into question the freedom of navigation in an area through which 1/3 of global maritime trade is shipped. Tensions between the Philippines and China continue to rise in the West Philippine Sea, Manila's term for part of the South China Sea within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, EEZ. Beijing claims practically all of the South China Sea, including parts of the West Philippine Sea, as its own, in defiance of international law and norms, including a 2016 arbitral ruling that quashed China's 9-line claim. Germany is among the many countries that publicly supports the ruling that favored the Philippines. Incidents of Chinese harassment, the use of lasers, water cannons, and dangerous maneuvers included, have become almost routine in some Philippine missions to the West Philippine Sea. Confrontations between the two countries' white ships have often happened in Ayungin Shoal, where a World War II-era ship serves as a Philippine outpost, and in Bago de Masinloc, the traditional fishing ground of fisherfolk from the Philippines, China, and Vietnam. Both features are located well within the Philippines' EEZ, or an area 200 meters from the Philippine coastline. Manila should have the exclusive right to exploit and protect natural resources within its EEZ. Europe is concerned about rising tensions in the South China Sea between the Philippines and China, Germany's Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said, prompting an immediate rebuke from Beijing.